Hi, welcome to SBR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. Today is Wednesday, December 23rd. We are doing our weekly call with Chris Andrews from AgainstTheNumber.com. He's going to give us his thoughts on possible current betting value for some upcoming bowls. Chris Andrews, thanks so much for being back with us. Bowl season, very exciting. What's the first bowl you'd like to discuss with us today?
Well, first bowl I'd like to discuss is San Diego State. I think the line has moved, but I still think there is value in San Diego State. I laid 1.5 earlier in the week. It's gone up to 3. Both teams will be playing their backup quarterbacks. Christian Chapman for San Diego State, who came in the Mountain West Conference Championship game and played fairly well. Not great, but played fairly well. Young kid, but they've had a month or almost a month to work with him, and I think he's going to play extremely well in this game. Rocky Long, the coach at San Diego State, has really done a terrific job in a program that's maybe a little bit under the radar. But as I look through the numbers that I like to crunch as far as efficiency and those sort of things, it's much better for San Diego State and Rocky Long, even though Tommy Tuberville, the coach from Cincinnati, probably has a little bit better reputation. I think San Diego State clearly better defensively, clearly more efficient as far as their offense and what they produce. They run the ball extremely well. Pretty good passing game, too, although we'll have to see how that will change with the new starter at quarterback. But I think clearly San Diego State, the much better side here. Gunnar Kiel will not play. He's starting quarterback for Cincinnati. And tell you the truth, I don't really know the reason why, but I think to me it indicates some sort of problem with Cincinnati.
We do want to make some money. Chris Andrews, what can I say? I completely agree with that one. That's one of the bowl games that I've already jumped on. I got it at 1.5 as well. If I didn't have it at 1.5, I would take it at 3. Thanks for that recommendation, Chris. I agree with that. What's the second bowl you'd like to bring up?
Second one is Washington University. I think really when we look back at Chris Peterson, this is going to be one of the great coaching jobs that he has done in a very in a fantastic career for Chris Peterson. When I looked at the beginning of this season, I didn't know if this team could scrounge out 4 wins. He had a lot of replacements coming in, and he's done a terrific job both offensively and defensively. The thing I like about him in this game, and by the way, they're playing Southern Miss, who's another team that has kind of come off the scrap heap a decade or so ago. They were one of the best mid-majors, a great South mid-major. If you go back in history, they produced Brett Favre a couple decades ago, but really had a great football tradition. Fell off the last couple of years. Glad to see them back. That's good. However, they're shooting a little high here. The only team they beat that had really any kind of qualifications was Louisiana Tech, who was a pretty nice team. But when you look at Washington, when they have played inferior opponents, and some of them are not all that inferior, but Utah State, bowl team, they beat them 31-17 by 14. Arizona, 49-3. Oregon State, 52-7. Wash State, 45-10. So they're the kind of team that if they get you down, they don't mind piling on the points. And I'm not sure that's something against Peterson. I just think the fact that he makes great defensive adjustments, and I think he keeps the other team off the scoreboard. He gives his team great field position, and I think it's just one of those things where they almost can't help but blow you out. I think they're clearly superior. We're laying a big number here. I understand that. I laid 8. I think it's up to about 9 now in most spots. But I think Washington clearly the right side.
It's 8.5 or 9 right now. I agree with you. I took it at 8.5 in general. I'm looking to bet on Chris Peterson on any given Saturday, and if I'm going to bet against him, I better have a pretty good damn reason for doing so. And hey, look, I'm agreeing. Although there could be a good reason here. Southern Miss was money all year long, right? 10-3 against the spread. You're not concerned about that, though.
Well, like I say, Peter, everything concerns me.
Yes, me too. Everything concerns me.
But
and
those are in the number, I think. And I just think Washington, like I said, I think they're the kind of team, if they get you down, that they'll beat the heck out of you.
Chris Andrews, I agree with you. 8.5 is actually the more common market number right now. What's the third bowl you'd like to bring up with us?
I'm going with Tulsa over Virginia Tech. And where I said Chris Peterson and the Washington team, they don't mind kind of trampling on your throat and running up the score when they have you in that position. I would say really the opposite is true for Virginia Tech. And a large part of that is they just don't have that offensive firepower. I think Virginia Tech probably stands a very good chance of winning this game straight up. But Tulsa's the kind of team that can put points on the board. Their worst performance this year, they put up 17 against East Carolina. I think they'll get at least that against Virginia Tech. Actually, I put them in the mid-20s, even maybe a little bit higher than that. And for Virginia Tech to cover, well, even if they score 17, which was, like I said, their worst performance of the year, Virginia Tech's going to have to get to 31. And I don't think that they have that in them. I don't think Virginia Tech has that kind of dynamic offense. Of course, it's Frank Beamer's last game. And whereas a lot of people might think that helps Virginia Tech, I see it the other way. I think once they have a lead, and I think they may have a fairly comfortable lead in this game, I think the back door is going to be wide open for Tulsa in this one. And I think they come through with just enough points to cover a pretty wide spread here on the for the point spread.
Right now it is market wide. Tulsa plus 14. Thanks so much, Chris. We will talk to you again next week for the final batch of bowl games.